Morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do the January 13th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. Hope you're doing well today. The title of the meditation is Inclusiveness and Our Sense of Belonging. Our diversity strengthens and affirms the reality of our simple message. Across all of our differences, the same simple program works. That comes from the Guiding Principles book, Tradition 5, word by word. In a simple message is that any addict can stop using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. Any addict. We witness the proof that our program works for ourselves and addicts from all walks of life, those with obvious similarities and those who are different from us. Tradition 5 states that a group's primary purpose is to carry NA's message to the still suffering addict who, on any given day, could be a newcomer or a more experienced member. While most of us will acknowledge the above is true, it's not a given. Inclusiveness, like all the spiritual principles, requires work. It takes practice and a degree of self-awareness. Our diversity is our strength. It's just a slogan unless we take steps to actively include each other, welcome and remember each other, share and listen to each other. Nearly all of us walk into NA feeling different and separate, not a part of. Our job as members is to try to bridge that gap. While it's true that we all have the same disease, we aren't the same people. When we look and feel different from everyone else in the room, that can challenge us. One longtime member described his experience like this. I walked into a meeting and nobody looked like me. I asked, where are my people? And a member responded, oh, they're on the way. You have to stay so you'll be here when they come. That made me feel included and that I had a purpose. It will do us well to remember that we are used to many factors defining us and our worth. Frankly, some of us have privileges and resources that others don't. While we like to say that stuff doesn't matter, we need to keep actively demonstrating that to newcomers. We're all accountable to the fifth tradition. We must never take it for granted. One member wrote, the disease wants us to focus on our differences. Recovery helps us appreciate our diversity, see beyond our differences, and know that we belong together. How am I putting our diversity is our strength into action? Today, I'll look for an opportunity to show another member that they belong. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please and thank you. What a wonderful meditation, talking about inclusiveness and a sense of belonging. Today, we're talking about the spiritual principle of inclusiveness, right? Or inclusivity, right? Being able to be a part of the diversity is our strength. That takes practice. You know how we say we didn't come in here brimming with love, right? Rainbows and unicorns. We didn't come in here brimming to an overflow with positivity. We were pretty pessimistic and skeptical. And with that, we brought whatever parameters or social culture, racial and ethnic background, social class, that came with us. Point blank, period. There's no way to change that. We all arrived with some baggage. Some of our baggage was lighter, less heavy than others. But now we're here and we're in a fellowship that tells us that the playing field has been leveled. Because the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. I have been into some places where I was the only person of color in the whole room recovering. And do you know what? Yes, there were some people that just could not accept my presence. They made sure I knew that even though the program tells me I'm included, they made sure that I understood that they didn't appreciate me. But you know what? I've been doing this. Like they say, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. I have been doing this for so long that it doesn't matter. If I'm on fire, I'm going into the room of Narcotics Anonymous and taking my seat because I can. And there's not anyone that can tell me that I can't. And it doesn't matter if I sense that I'm welcomed or not. I should feel welcome. And by far, the majority of the people were very welcoming. As this individual notes here, they walked into a room and said, "Where are the people that look like me?" And someone told them, "You need to stay here so that when they get here, because they are coming, you'll be here to welcome them. You can let them know this is for you too." Inclusivity, the spiritual principle of including others and being hospitable and welcoming to others, is not something that comes natural for everyone. It takes practice. You know, the way that I was raised, you know, my mother was a mother with a lot of children, and her second husband was a white man with a lot of children. My pops, right? Not my biological dad, my pops, my stepfather, and my daddy that stepped up, right? So I was exposed to diversity at an early age. So yeah, it's no problem for me. I've practiced it all of my life. But that's not the case for everyone. And I wouldn't care what your culture is, what your racial background is, what your nation is. I wouldn't care. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't care what your religion is. None of that matters. It matters to you, and you matter to all of us in regards to what do you want to do about your problem in relationship to the disease of addiction, and how can we help you recover? That's what matters. So today when we go out, let's keep it in mind. If you're going out in this blizzard, I'm not going anywhere. But today when we go out or we interact with people, let us be a part of the attraction. When we're practicing inclusivity, a part of the attraction for them, and not a part of the justification for why they think they don't belong here. And you know, we carry the message, not the addict. But let's make sure we're actually carrying the message that any addict can stop using and lose the desire to use. Any addict. Blue, purple, green, red, yellow, brown, black, white, peach, pink, any addict. Bugetto to ghetto, right? Refined. I was having a conversation with this gentleman from another country. I think um, Denmark. I was having a discussion, and I'm sorry. I was trying so hard to decipher his English, right? And he speaks very good English, but there's a very hard accent there. So I was really, really trying to, really decipher what he was saying. And he said something that caught my attention. He said something that caught my attention. He told me about how much money his wife makes and how educated she is. And she works with a research team with one of the top 5 universities in America. And then he went on to tell me about his income. Between the two of them, they bring about 400,000 in $400,000 US dollars in a month. I'm sorry, a year. So 400K a year. And it caught my attention because in that moment, I thought to myself, why is this why is this pertinent information for me to know? Why is this important? In the context of our discussion, why is this financial piece important? Because in my culture, we don't go around talking about how much we earn, do we? Right? In my culture, we don't. And when I say my culture, I'm talking about here in the USA, right? Even though you pretty much, any 501c3, you can find out how much people are earning if you do the research, right? Because that is, in a sense, public information. So I just thought it was odd. But I have to tell you the truth. In the back of my head, after that thought, I thought to myself, oh, I almost feel like I shouldn't even be having this conversation. Like I'm not supposed to be in your presence. That's kind of like what it was coming across. Like, I'm up here and you're down there, and I just need you to know for sure, understand that your income level is way less than mine. And so we need to be careful. We need to pick and choose the things that we're talking about with people that we barely know, right? Pick and choose carefully the things that we're talking about with people when they're coming into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, so that they don't sense that there's this big eyes and little U's. But it is a work in progress. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a work in progress, and one that is worth the work. So how are you putting our diversity as our strength into action? What do you think? What will you do? I know with Martin Luther King Day coming, it's a service day for many people. Maybe that's an opportunity for you to have a day off and do some things to let diversity be our strength and put it into action. Maybe there's some recovery homes in your community that need a helping hand, need some help organizing things and getting rid of things. And maybe they need a makeover. Maybe the walls need to be cleaned. There's tons of things that people are going to be doing. And unfortunately, doing this one day of the year that they normally wouldn't do, but it's still the intent behind it is to be of service. So maybe with diversity being our strength, this is a good time to show inclusivity. Get out there and do something if you have the day off, with or in a culture that you normally wouldn't experience. We can take it outside the rooms. This is our practice ground. You know what? I'm done. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you soon.